Oh, hey guys. Welcome to Ian Flanigan Week here on the Boston Chris podcast. That's right, we have Ian Flanigan, who Blake Shelton once called a once-in-a-lifetime vocalist. And I agree wholeheartedly. And he's a different kind of vocalist. And we talk about his vocals quite heavily here on the show today. Such an insightful conversation with Ian today on the show. Perhaps the most in-depth and candid interview you'll ever see with Ian Flanigan. But before we get into all of that, I need you guys to do me a favor. Y'all have homework. First, I want y'all to hit the like button wherever you are. Make sure you do that, please. And if you want to see more in-depth conversations like this, at least once a week, perhaps even two, you could go ahead and subscribe or follow for free wherever you are. I would definitely appreciate that. And of course, as always, if you would like to comment, I want you guys to comment what your favorite part of this episode was. We're so excited to chat with Ian Flanigan. Again, I think he finished third on The Voice. And we do talk very briefly about The Voice in kind of a different way. We don't really discuss his experiences on there, but really how they helped him become a better songwriter and a better artist today. What an intriguing story Ian Flanigan is in music. We're so excited to have him here on the Boston Chris podcast. And someday, I am hoping to have $1 million sound effects for this section of the show when I go like this.
It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. Until we all lose connection.
Hi, this is Mike Aiken. This is Amy Aiken.
Thanks for tuning in to the Boston Chris Show.
Hey guys, Boston Chris back again with another podcast from the Boston Chris Show, and it is Ian Flanigan week here on the show, and we're excited to have Ian on the show. And we missed our time last week because you are probably one of the busiest people on the planet when it comes to music, and you just told me you had twin girls as well. So
Oh my gosh, I know. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so sorry about last week and everybody, but yeah, man, I am just fortunate to be making music and raising babies, man.
yeah, that's what's up. I didn't know that you had twin girls, and I mean that's double the fun, but also double the hard, right? Like it's gonna be
Oh
difficult.
man, we sleep, get some sleep. That's the
Sometimes.
goals.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yep,
Yeah, you sleep when they sleep, right?
that's true. That is
Yeah,
true.
that's the way it has to be. We do have a couple of live songs that we have been allowed to use from your YouTube.
Sure.
And we're going to use those as kind of the bread in our sandwich, with the interview being the meat. And the first song we have here is called Devil in My Hands. Can you tell us a bit about this song?
Yeah, so I've moved around a lot since I was a kid, really like 17. I've been out busking and just traveling and just doing that. But I found this place down in Georgia. My brother, he's named Keith. He's technically my cousin, but he's like a brother. And he came up to me one day and was just like, man, I got a millwright job down here in Georgia, got this house, and it's going to be $150 a piece a month. You can write your record. We could just kind of disappear. And I was like, that is perfect. So we're driving down, and we had this crazy time, man. We showed up at this house, and there was somebody living in it that wasn't supposed to be living in it.
Squatter.
It was,
Yeah.
it was one of those places like when it rained outside, it rained inside. And, we used to play this drinking game with every time a mousetrap went off, we'd take a shot of moonshine. and I swear, man, we played this game for over half a year. And it was one of those like best worst times of your life. But I'll keep it PG-13 for everybody out here. But so back in those days, we were a little wilder. And since then, I've been 10 years alcohol free and all that.
Congrats.
So I
yeah.
wrote, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
But I wrote this song more about the wild times back in the day.
It's a great song, man. We're excited to show a live acoustic version of it on the show, and I love acoustic music as well because it's much less polished, and you can't hide quite as much behind production when it's just you and a guitar, right?
Oh no, man, I love it. It's just raw, and
Yeah.
mistakes and all. I love all of that in acoustic music.
Yeah, that's called character, right?
Makes it unique,
That's right. Well, we're excited, man. Here's Ian Flanigan with Devil in My Hands, completely acoustic here on the show. Y'all check it out.
Lord, Lord, does a man like me still got time to get my wings? What I've done ain't who I am. Angel on my shoulder and the devil in my hands. I can't lie, been on the run. I can't go back to where I'm from. It's 5 years waiting in a cold dark cell. Angel on my shoulder, save me from myself. Yes, I know my soul is clean. Got the angel watching over me. I got to be a better man. Listen to the angels and not the devil in my hands. Women get into trouble, money do the same. There ain't enough whiskey to numb the pain. Heaven up above me, hell below. I pray I'm walking on a righteous road. Hey now, mama, please don't cry. See you next spring before July. Where I'm going too soon to tell. Angel on my shoulder, save me from myself. Yes, I know my soul is clean. Got the angel watching over me. I got to be a better man. Listen to the angels, not the devil in my head. In my head. Yes, I know my soul is clean. Got the angel watching over me. I got to be a better man. Listen to the angel and not the devil in my hands. In my hands.
All right, so we are back once again with Ian. I'm excited to have him on the show for the very first time. Hopefully not the last. And, man, I've been a fan of yours for a while, and just really
thank you,
stoked to
Brad.
have you here on the show because I have a lot of stuff to talk about. But before we get into that, let's break the ice a little bit. What are your favorite drinks right now, Ian?
Oh man, my favorite drinks. Well, I'm a lemonade guy, man. The stronger the lemon in that thing, I'm all for it. I'm like a lemonade through and through guy. But my wife just bought these things called they're like poppy sodas and like cream soda and birch beer. Those are my favorite drinks. I mean, I don't drink anymore, so they're a little bit softer, but those are my go-to.
Yeah, you don't realize how many options there are in the world until you start asking people what they're drinking.
Yeah, I know.
It's awesome. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about where kind of you came from, because you are an up north guy. I'm not going to call you a Yankee because you're a country music star. So,
No, I am.
yeah, so am I. A huge country music fan, but I'm a Yankee. But been in Texas for 25 years almost now. But you grew up in a town called Saugerties, New York, right?
Yeah, I did. Yes, Saugerties, New York.
What's it like up in that part of the world?
Man, it's beautiful. We're about 4 miles from Woodstock, New York. So a lot of a lot of tie dyes, a lot of stuff like that. It's a really great like blue collar country area. Upstate New York's got some of the best, most beautiful landscape you're going to find. I always look at it like a kind of like a mini Montana mixed with some farmland, but really, really small town, man. My family's been there for like 200 years.
Wow.
I mean, I grew up one road away from where my dad grew up. And that was one road away from where my mother grew up, and like a few doors down from my grandpa, kind of small.
So almost
It's
like
really-
a family compound. I mean, that's what it's like up in the New England area.
Yeah,
And-
just small towns, man.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody. They all grew up together. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I know they don't consider New York New England, but I'm from Massachusetts, and I've been to upstate New York, and I consider upstate New York to be part of New England.
I do too. Yeah.
Maybe not the city so much, but if you're not from the area and maybe you're from the South or the West or whatever, you may not know much about New York, but New York is literally 9 million people in the Southeast, and then the rest of the state is just gorgeous open land and, like you said, farmland, and just as country as if you were in Alabama or Georgia, you know what I mean?
I know. I forget the statistic, but like the Adirondack State Park in New York is bigger than like Yellowstone Glacier and one more put together.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It's just a gorgeous state, and I don't think the rest of the country really understands how that part of New York, that upstate part of it.
No, same with Massachusetts, man.
Sure.
Massachusetts
Yeah.
is gorgeous.
That's a very good point out west, and even like North Shore of Boston. And I was from southeast of Boston, so not quite as beautiful there, but there's definitely parts of Massachusetts. You're right. You mentioned 4 miles from Woodstock. Is that that geography? Does that ever influence you as a kid musically?
Yeah, it did. It's just not even so much for anything tied to like a festival or whatever, but just it's a very artist heavy place. Like there's
Right.
a lot of such great local talent that growing up it's what inspired me. I was like, oh, this is a solid life choice. I'm going to be just like these guys. Just so much local music and great stories.
Yeah, and it's a historical musical mecca too. So people have been, traveling to that area even today because of
Oh,
that
yeah.
festival, right? Just to kind of celebrate that festival.
Yeah, and the festival was something like an hour or so south after all, but it's like you got Bob Dylan, like Van Morrison was up there. I mean, Levon Helm has his Midnight Ramble still there. I mean, he sadly passed, but I mean, such an inspiration, that kind of stuff going on every week. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. And is that how music? Like, how is music finding you as a youngster?
My mom and we used to make songs up all the time. I'm an only child, and my first house I was out in the woods and just wanted a guitar and make songs. And I had a great guitar teacher since I was 11 years old,
Wow.
local guy. And, I still talk with him to this day. He still gives me pointers, but really just the community. I don't know. I've been obsessed with music since I can remember. Always like as a kid, I remember feeling music really, really intensely. And I was always like, I need to learn how to make that feeling.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been my obsession every day.
Doesn't surprise me that you're an only child. That's pretty prominent in the music industry. I'm an only child as well, and I feel like when you're an only child, like your creativeness can almost fill that void of a sibling. Or
Yeah, you got to pass some time.
Sure.
You gotta
yeah. And I feel like you got to fill the silence sometimes too, right? Like if you're by yourself, especially for me, I'm sure it was the same for you. Like my parents were at work all the time, so like I
All the
spent a
time.
lot of time alone, right?
That's their whole life.
Yeah. So how are you filling that silence as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I had a dog and made music.
Yeah.
Is pretty much it. I think things are different. There wasn't all the things like right now. They're raising kids. It's like there's billions of, you can have everything from toys to Miss Rachel.
Right.
It's crazy. But back in the day, I mean, I don't know. I can't even remember much of it. But music was always a big thing, man. Always.
So
Even if
guitar
it
at
wasn't-
11, you said?
Yeah, that was like once I got one, my parents got me this Art and Lutheran guitar, and that was it. That was
Yeah.
kind of like, I'm gonna learn this thing forever.
Was it an instant passion? Like you just took right to it?
Yeah, I wasn't good. I've been very bad at everything I ever started for
course,
a long
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But it was just it just felt right. Like, you know, when you just, if you picture yourself, like I couldn't, if I was on an island, the first thing I'd be doing is like chopping the tree down and finding a way to make some strings, you know. I just would have to write music. So
I love how you say you weren't good, right? Like you have to be
No.
honest with yourself. So the question here is like, you know, you're not good. So how do you weed through that to get good and still remain passionate through all the bad, right? How's that work?
I know. Well, you know, like for me, I'm a decent example for it because one, I got a really low, raspy voice, and every song I ever wanted to sing was like the Eagles or something up high. Like I always, if I could have my choice, man, I'd have like a hair metal voice. I just want to rock so hard, but I got this low voice, and for most of my life, I chased trying to be like other people and try to sound like them. And then really, probably around like 18, 19 is when I was just like, you know what, let me just really live in my own world and find my own voice. And when you really go after your own thing, everything you write and arrange tends to like work together instead of you trying to force your way into being somebody you're not, you know. And that I think was the longest part for me, is just realizing like, hey, it's okay to be completely uniquely you. And the more you lean into that, the better people seem to resonate with
I love that, man. Was there someone there to help you with that realization, or is that just, again, I mean, I imagine you're really comfortable with your inner thoughts being an only child, but is that, like, how's that working?
I was really shy. I didn't really perform in my town till maybe I left. I think I left and then came back a couple years later when I was like 20 and then performed for the first time. I was very shy. So everything I did was kind of behind closed doors, little snippets of things. And, you know, I never was into music to make it a career either. It was really just like this weird obsession. You know, I just had to write, and weird things like interesting songwriters like Jack Johnson. You know, he was really inspiring to me because at that time in my life, I was starting to really write all the time. And, you know, I used to skip school just to go write music, and, you know, it was a terrible influence, but the thing is, like, his writing style was just so creative to me at that time in my life. And it really just was like, okay, he's not like a hair metal singer, not going crazy. It's not pop. It's very organic. Like, he's sitting right there. And it allowed, like, all I owned at that time was an acoustic guitar. So it was really inspiring to listen to him. And, you know, he kind of helped me. I've never met him, but thank you, Jack Johnson. But you know, his albums really helped me just kind of just sit and be present with the song and with my thoughts and just make honest music.
Man, I love these answers because, like, as a fan of yours, researching you, I would not have made the connection of Jack Johnson, but now that you mention it, like, looking at your catalog and being somewhat familiar with it now after researching you for the last month or so, I hear it now. Like, I see it there.
Oh, thanks, man. That's a big compliment.
Man,
I mean, you know, you figure things out along the way and mess around. And
I mean, one of my favorite songs of all time is Angel by Jack Johnson. I mean,
my gosh,
one of the best songs ever written that perhaps the world doesn't know enough about, right? Like,
I know.
Man, Jack is just such a talent.
He's such a good dude.
Yeah, super down to earth from what I've been told. Really, things started changing for you. I don't want to really fast forward too much, but I find your story to be so freaking interesting, almost from the onset, maybe a little bit before the pandemic, and you decided to just sell everything. And
I kind of had to. You know, I did an apprenticeship back when I was like 19 or 20 or something out in Colorado with my dad's army buddy. Like, my middle name's after him. He's like family. Tom Thornburg, amazing bluegrass banjo player and an amazing luthier. So I went and apprenticed with him, and I moved back to my hometown and worked, and I built Spectre basses out in Woodstock, and they're a great bass company. And I basically just was milling wood and sanding up basses, make carving necks and bodies. And, you know, I tried my best to make a living, but as you know, being in the North, it's like you got 8 months of winter, and it's music just kind of dies. And bar gigs are hard, and you know, I just couldn't make it, and I can't do any other work. You know, I always was like, I only work jobs that would take my body and not my mind, because I had to write, and I wrote my records on the clock, you know, and I'm sorry to my bosses, but so I always did kind of labor jobs, construction, or whatever, cutting trees, and you just can't really make it like that. So I just got to a point where I sold everything and moved into a Winnebago, and my thought process was like, one, I love camping and I don't need much, and I towed a Honda Accord that had a PA system in it. And basically the strategy was to work trade. So I would go to state parks or trailer parks, campgrounds, whatever it was, and I'd work about 20 hours a week in trade for a free place to stay, free internet, and a hookup for, your sewer, water, whatever you need. And then I would travel with the Honda Accord about 400 miles from that location. And that was what I planned to do for, I don't know, forever, basically. But, I just kind of sent it, and that was one of the best experiences I could have had.
Where'd that mentality come from?
It's kind of not really frowned upon to get in a van and go travel as a musician up there. But honestly, my parents, the best thing, like my mom, sadly she's passed away now, but she was just one of those amazing people where I was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to go live in a van and travel and make music. And she was like, do you know how many people would love that?
Yeah.
Like, she was like, what a beautiful van. You're going to have a great time. So I had that kind of support where that's the best kind. That's more than any kind of money or anything in the life, is
Absolutely.
to go pursue your dreams kind of support, So I always had that.
That is something we talk about on this show a lot. Obviously, I talk to at least 2 musicians every week, right? So
yeah,
as a genesis story for each of y'all, whether you're a songwriter, an artist, whatever your role is in music, I feel like the parental support is either one of two things. It's either completely frowned upon from our prior generation because it's not a quote-unquote real job. And you should get a real job, and you should be blue collar and work your ass off until there's no ass left to work. Or what sounds like your case, your parents are just extremely supportive of no matter what your choices are.
They were always happiness. Like whatever you want to do, you go do it.
Yeah,
it wasn't. I don't know. They didn't really care. And at the time, I was just living kind of randomly anyway, had been traveling for years, so it was kind of normal. But it's a huge thing, man, just to, like, I feel like everybody's always one person away from taking that leap to actually chase a crazy dream.
Mm-hmm.
You just need one person to be like, hey, yeah, that's a great idea.
Absolutely. You just have to have that validation, because your inner voice, especially as an only child, I know this to be true, your inner voice is going to talk you out of anything good you think is going to be good for yourself, right?
Always, man, always.
Yeah. So if somebody else says, hey, man, that's a great idea, man, that voice can disappear for a little while, and that's all.
Yeah, it's all you need, and then you take a leap.
Yep. So again, I talked about these interviews being very circular. The circle's coming around pretty quick this time.
Sure.
I love how kind of your nomadic lifestyle was for a while there. Being on the road, trading services, playing all of these different styles and different kinds of venues that you've played, from restaurants and festivals. And, you've played a lot of different styles and kinds of venues. And then looking at you now, where your storytelling is so great within your craft, while also remaining commercial, which is really the big balance for a full-time artist, is being commercial but also being true to your creativeness, integrity, and your art. I feel like that could be, like, that line could be drawn to your nomadic lifestyle, helping you with those experiences, right?
Oh yeah, well, thank you, man. That's very kind of you. But I think for me, I'm just a student. I really don't really think of the music I'm making as anything that needs to be any specific thing.
Okay.
Like when I got to Nashville, like, let's take that. It was the first time I ever co-wrote with anybody. Because again, only child, upstate. Yep. It's like it's not that culture.
Yep.
And being here, when I first came into the rooms, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just absorb, because it's like I've been writing my own music for so many years. I'm just gonna come in and I'm gonna learn and I'm gonna absorb. And the commercial thing, before I got to Nashville, I was writing like 6-minute
Yeah.
songs with like a pedal steel, fiddle, cello, like really stuff with key changes and time signature changes. And it was not really commercial. It was just, I was just expressing all the time. And Nashville really helped me kind of take that and pocket it into a little bit more of a structure. And I've really learned to like love that. And it's fun, you know, and there's a method to music that it's like a live show. The set and the pulse of it and the timing and the set list is very important, you know, and I'm really a student of that, where I just want to make people feel good. And I think pop and commercial is more about how do you make this so it's a little bit more accessible to a broader audience, but how do you say something nobody's ever said? That's kind of my thinking. It's like I'd like to be creative inside of that.
I love this so much, man. We're gonna have fun with this conversation. So,
thanks for having me.
Such a unique experience coming from you. You're an only child. You're from upstate New York. That's almost 2 strikes against you when it comes to...
I know. I like them.
Like
Strike all day.
Yeah. Like the Nashville lifestyle. So when you come to Nashville, right, and you're wanting to get into these rooms and you want to absorb, you want to sponge everything, you're an only child, you're from upstate New York, there's going to be some ego at play there, I imagine. Just from being a only child myself, I could be very, egocentric when it comes to my toys, so to speak. So
sure.
How did you learn how to just absorb and kind of swallow that ego, leave it at the door, so to speak?
I would say playing with some bluegrass players in the previous years. Nothing's going to shut your ego up than playing with bluegrass musicians. You'd be like, you know what? I'm not that good. And you know, when I came to Nashville the first time, I was just passing through. It was just a part of a tour, and I got stuck here in COVID. And then it just turned into a billion things. And by the time I've gone into those rooms, I had been humbled in life very, very many times. So I really didn't need another, and I was just excited to learn.
That's awesome stuff. Yeah, because I've heard so many songwriters on this show say, leave your ego at the door when you're co-writing, when you have those sessions. Yeah.
Well, you never know, man. I mean, we cut a song on the record from a guy that just had an idea, and we took the title into the room together and wrote it one day and gave him a cut on the song because it was just such a great title. Yeah. And it's like you never know who it is. And I write with a lot of people that don't play an instrument, they don't sing, and just have a brilliant way of formulating thoughts in the room into lines, and all of a sudden they're just your favorite song. So. Yeah,
there's all kinds of songwriters, definitely. You mentioned your vocals earlier when you were younger, how you wanted to possibly be one of those heavy metal singers. And
I did.
I want to talk about your vocals because your vocals are very unique to me, and they're incredible as well. I got a couple of adjectives here that I wanted to mention. I have smoky and sultry when it comes to your voice.
Thank you.
I want to know, from your standpoint, talking from a vocal standpoint, what are the blessings and the curses of having your voice as an artist, would you say?
Oh, man. So the way I like to actually say it is at my best, I'm a 7. At my worst day, I'm a 6.5. So the consistency of a raspy voice is always kind of there. Yeah. Like you probably won't know if I'm having a terrible day. Because
so the floor and the ceiling are extremely close to each other.
They're very close. Yeah, it's always going to be somewhat there. But, my voice is, I wish I had a little bit more range. And the raspy thing, I try so hard to compete that, but like fatigue, it's like, there's a lot. It's like lifting it's like a tractor instead of a sports car. It's like a heavy burden sometimes when you're doing 90 minutes back to back to back to back. But I've always envied those crystal clear singers that almost effortlessly don't have. I gotta like throw it. That thing's on the ground. I gotta pick it up and throw it.
Well, I love your voice, and I love how you utilize it within your songs as well. So, like as a songwriter, I feel like the creative process is obviously twofold. You're starting with a blank page and you write the song, and then you take that written song on a page into the studio and you create the song at that point. How are you utilizing your voice from blank page to fully fledged song. There has to be, a strategy in delivering a lyric and with what you have, right?
Yeah, every artist has their inflections, and you have your range, and you have like even certain vowels that are exciting to hear, and certain vowels out of me will sound different than out of you or any other singer.
Absolutely.
That I would avoid in a chorus, or and that's a large point of selecting songs out of the ones you write or whoever's written them, where it's like it's gotta fit your phrasing. Like I got a little bit of a marble mouth, and in the studio it's very, very hard sometimes for certain songs for me to sing them very clearly, so I got to pick certain. I try to always think about that stuff, so when I'm delivering it, that people know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
Every little detail, really. But any song can be transposed and written to the artist in a way that's the best that can be.
Great stuff. You also mentioned recently that live shows are important, the art of the set list, things like that. So how conscientious are you in the studio from a vocal standpoint of, I'm going to put this vocal into the song? Are you thinking about how it's going to replicate in a live setting as well later on?
Yeah, actually, I'm writing a record right now because of that. I'm playing a lot of different rooms and a lot of I'm trying to get into a lot more theaters right now, which is do a little bit of a weirder duo kind of thing. I want to do a tour with a cello player. And
awesome.
I just want to make some weird stuff. And so I'm writing into that because I feel like you got to write the records to the room in a sense. And, like this last record I just wrote, The Man My Mama Raised, that's it's a very up tempo, kind of bigger sound, bigger band. And I love playing it with the band. And like those songs, when I write for a bigger band, I write in a higher register because your vocals cut through the mix better.
Yeah.
And but that takes more energy, and you got to really send it. And in the acoustic kind of weirder stuff, I get to kind of relax a little bit more and lean into the lower parts of my voice that get lost in a mix sometimes with a big arrangement.
Yeah, because you're trying to create more feel, right? With a smaller production live, I feel, right? Is that?
Yeah, like the acoustic version of Devil there. Like I really love that stuff too. But my thing is I'm just I love music. I love every part of it. I want to do the big full band stuff, and I love the intimate broke down raw stuff.
Yeah, it's just extending your toolbox, so to speak, right?
Yeah, and it's fun. I like to do something different every time. If I did one thing, I got to switch it up.
Yeah, it helps you avoid complacency, which is a killer for creative people. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got to grow.
Yeah, for sure. Next note on my list here is the meeting of music and spirituality with you. And I know that's very important, but it's not the be-all, catch-all, right? Like you have spiritual songs, you have non-spiritual songs.
Sure.
Is this a product of life experiences, what you're feeling when you have the pen in your hand, so to speak?
Yeah, for me, I never get too preachy or try to tell anybody any which way in this world, because I'm just a human expressing certain moments of my life, and for me, it's very hard to doubt these higher powers in my life that have come and either saved my ass or just been there whether I knew it or not. And it's also a huge element of my life to just be grateful. Like I find that everything that I have is because I eventually check myself or my ego, and I go back to gratitude. And I think nothing is more important and nothing's bigger than giving that away to something higher than yourself, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
And not that I like to speak super politically correct about it. It's just, for me, it's very obvious. I'm just a guy walking around. I got to check myself and be grateful every day for everything, and that's
You're
where
an
I
artist,
like to put
right?
that.
And I mean, an artist is gonna share what they're feeling and experiencing. I like to put it as you're not a Christian artist; you're an artist that's a Christian, right? And that's the difference in that, so to speak. And I think
so. Yeah, but I always use it because it's such a huge thing in my life, so it ends up in so many songs,
Yeah. And I mean, you'd be stifling yourself if you didn't allow it to enter your songs. But yeah, I don't feel like you're ever too preachy at all. Anyway, I did want to talk very briefly about the voice, and not maybe perhaps in the ways that you're used to. But
sure.
if you're not familiar with Ian's experience on The Voice, he finished third. on The Voice. You were Team Blake, I believe, if I'm remembering correct. Is that right?
Yep, all the way, Team Blake. Yeah,
So
he saved my butt.
yeah, I'm not gonna ask you your experiences on there and all the cookie cutter puff kind of
Sure.
The Voice questions, but I will ask you this: do you have any regrets looking back of that experience?
You know, that's a great question. I don't have any regrets, but I had never really seen the show before being on it, and I wish that I knew a little bit more of it, because I had never really I never did cover songs or really seen the show. So I kind of went in being like, I don't know. And I could have done a little more homework, I think, and maybe picked a couple songs.
I love that. You just feed me into my only other voice question.
Yeah.
You're talking about cover songs. I've interviewed a lot of folks on these shows, AGT, American Idol, The Voice, and I know how regimented it is. I know that maybe not all the time, but it is very often that the artist doesn't necessarily, or the contestant doesn't necessarily have full control over what they're going to be performing. I don't know if that's the case with you or not, but my curiousness is, as such an uber creative person, how does the experience on The Voice doing cover songs help you as an artist later on? Because I imagine in order to stand out against everybody else that's also doing cover songs, you have to find a way of being creative within the sphere of somebody else's song, right? So how's that helping you now?
Actually, it's helped me more than I ever imagined. I was see, that's one of those things where I brought my ego to it, where I was like, I don't really do cover songs, you know? And then as soon as I started like rearranging them, and I did a song on the show, To Make You Feel My Love, which is a Bob Dylan tune, and they let me just completely arrange it how I wanted to, acoustically, and make it my own. And I spent some time and really loved the arrangement, and I felt like I don't know, gotten an insight into another writer, and I kind of grew as an artist myself. And then I kind of got hooked on rearranging other people's songs. And now, I mean, I was kind of foolish to avoid it for so long, because you learn so much in just trying to get through it. You know?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's such a great answer, because I see that obviously in the Britney Spears cover you did, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. Things like I can't sing like her.
Yeah, but like I played that song for my wife. I said, I want you to tell me the name of this song as soon as you know what the name of this song is.
Yeah.
And we were 90 seconds into the song before she knew what song it was.
That's the goal, and I appreciate you sharing it. But yeah, because when sometimes I'll read the lyrics without listening, and like I read the lyrics that day, I was like, I want to do something fun, and I read the lyrics. I was like, it's not a happy song to me,
It's not.
If I was to read it, and I would sing it like this. So I take the lyrics of the song, and I'm like, well, where am I sitting if I was to play this movie in my head? And then I write that,
Yeah, I love it.
And then
man.
I like it.
Yeah, and you put it on a record, which again, which I love.
I forgot that.
Yeah, you put it on the record, and I mean, you're a songwriter. You're a great songwriter. As a fan, that's me saying that, not you.
Oh, thanks, man.
But I know that those slots on a record or an EP are very finite, right? You only have so many pieces and so much financials that you can put in there. So putting a cover in I know that's a strategic move. So when you're choosing songs for your records, how does that work for you? Because I know you mentioned co-writes. I know you have the 100%ers that you have as well. Plus you're putting covers into the mix as well. How does that process work for Ian Flanigan?
Man, for me, I think of a project and I think of a body of work, because I'm still old enough to believe in albums and records and bodies of work instead of every single thing is a single.
Yeah, good for you.
And I will always be that way, and for better or for worse, I guess. But so there's probably 50 other songs that could have been on this record, but they didn't feel like they were in the same movie, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does, yeah.
So the best song always wins, whether I wrote it or not. I'm trying to paint a picture with the whole record and try to do a start to finish like chapter of life, and that's how those songs were picked. They were just the best of that shade of the palette that we were going for. There's hundreds of songs you could pick from in town, or dozens that I've written that I love and I will release, but they just didn't feel like this record.
When does that process start for you? Kind of
Every day.
categorizing songs into feel, right?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I write them, and I'll have them sitting on a shelf somewhere, and if a body of work starts to like rear its head up and be like, hey, this is a collection of songs, I'm really feeling this, I gotta live in this now, then I can kind of go back into the catalogs that I've been writing and see if stuff kind of fits in or rework it, and then you start writing to it, and then you're like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm like right now I'm doing like an alt country proggy folk type thing. It's I want it to be super weird and unique and also commercial, but now I'm writing into that. So like my feel is that vibe. Like every time I'm writing for me, I'm gonna think like that. Like, how do I do something that I've never done on the guitar before? And like a song I'm working on right now, it's something I'm not good at playing yet. So I'm trying to write a little beyond my ability so that I can get better.
Yeah, that's part of the growing process, right?
Yeah, and I'm tracking all the guitars on this new stuff, so I'm just trying to push myself and just grow. But that's how I do it. Everybody's different, but best song wins. And sometimes there's, for other artists too, I know for sure that there's just a song that is just amazing and you're very, very proud of it, and you kind of go with that as a single,
Yeah, how much, is it, when you're looking for a certain vibe, like you're talking about alt country and all that, how much of that is jump started by having a song that you all of a sudden believe in wholeheartedly? Like this,
a lot.
This right here is badass. I need to create something around this vibe and continue to write within this sphere. Is it almost always song based? Because like the other side of the coin would be like, I want to make an alt record or alt country record. Now I'll write for it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You don't kind of wake up and say, today it's jazz. I think it's more like you get a feeling, and also the live show really dictates that.
Yeah.
Like right now, the way I'm booking and touring, I want to write into that world as well. And it's kind of different for everybody. So I can only speak from my perspective, but the room that you're playing is very, very important for the songs you bring to it. Every show, if you're doing an acoustic private party or something, you're going to play a different show than if you have an opening slot at a theater or a stadium or something. It's a different world, different element. So I kind of think of it as like, how do I want to tour this for the next year, and what do I want to play? And I want to be very guitar heavy and a little more atmospheric, and I blend them with all my records. So it's like, how do we make it feel like a natural appendage of all this music?
Is brilliant, man. This is really smart in that basically what you're doing, and correct me if I'm wrong, basically what you're doing is the brand is Ian Flanigan, and then in 2026 the brand is going to be bringing you this vibe, and then so everything under that umbrella is going to be within that vibe, the record, the live shows, the venues we're playing at, perhaps like even what you're wearing, like all of those things for that period of time is that vibe. That's essentially what you're saying, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. And it gets to change, and then I don't get to get bored or anything, and it's fun, and it's and I get to grow, and I'm very fortunate to have a team around me that allows me to do that, and I
imagine you're growing in many different ways too. I mean, personally, artistically, your fan base is going to grow because you're going to be reaching people that are of a different have different likes and dislikes, right? You're doing different venues, a different style of music. Like, there's so much growth involved in that.
So much. And also nowadays, everybody's kind of a TikTok, Instagram Reels artist, and when I think about it, I have no hate for anything. I think that it's just different. It's more, and it's different. And like, I'm an album guy. I like long-winded stuff. I like meditation music that I make on the side. And it's like, TikTok and Instagram, you basically have 15 seconds to do your thing. And that's not very natural for me, but I also like the challenge of like, well, how can I do what I do in this world too? And that also shapes the songs sometimes, where it's like, well, let me see if I can do something that's really exciting here where I naturally might not have before.
Yeah, it's basically attempting to feed two different beasts, right? Like your own creativeness, but then understanding that there's an entire new way of doing things in the world, right? And the way people are consuming things are different. So if you don't adjust to that, you're not feeding that correctly either. Even if you're feeding your own your own creativeness, maybe that's not enough, right? You got to have both sides.
Oh yeah, and man, when I was a teenager, I moved down to Orlando, Florida, and that's where I started gigging. It was my first time where I was like completely, I didn't know anybody, and it was very comfortable for me to just be whoever, you know, because being in your small town, it's like I don't want to share anything.
Yeah.
But you know, the older guys there back in the day, they were like, you live in a place for about a year or two, saturate that market, and then move to another state or another city and do the same thing. And you do that for an indefinite amount of time, and that's your tour history, and that's how you build a career. And that's what I've always done. But now it's much more, you stay home and you just post and post and post and post. But the beauty of being an artist is the adventure of being an artist. And when you take that away, it's not a bad thing, but you're missing out on a part of that spiritual part too, where it's like the road is more than just getting to the show. It's a part of being in the music, you know.
Yeah, it's like trying to be like who you grew up wanting and dreaming to be, that throwback, right? But at the same time, trying to be a 21st century throwback, right?
Yeah, and you know, I always think about it because it's like now I don't really travel as much. You know, I'm raising kids. I got a house,
twin girls. That's right.
Beautiful wife, and just I'm being a dad and a home guy, and I fly out and do some shows, and it's fun and it's awesome. But you know, I got into music for the journey of it. You know, I didn't really care about you know, money and fame. I was just more like, how do I see the world? Like, I'm broke. I don't have anything. You know, how do I see the world? How do I meet awesome people and have these stories? And how do I write about something I've never lived, you know? And like, so how can I live everything that I can't afford, you know? And music can do that.
Yeah, great stuff, man. I wanted to talk about that too. Like you lived this nomadic life for several years, being on the road, trading services, playing all over the place. Now you're transitioning into that family life. It's a different kind of adventure. What's that transition like for you, going from nomadic to family life? Such different experiences, you know.
It is. It's really rewarding, and I'm at a chapter in my life where I'm really embracing it, and like it feels perfectly the right time, and I'm grateful for it. It's now I don't sleep a lot, you know. I would love to sleep, but it's awesome, man. And it's like it's amazing watching people that you've created with, especially with the person that you created them with, and you're just like, you know, everything in life is so meaningless sometimes, and this is the only thing that really matters, you know. And it's a great reality check.
Yeah, there's no better cure for ego than babies.
Oh yeah, you don't get time for that. Yeah, no. But to be honest, man, it's all an adventure, and I'm just grateful for it.
I love that.
About that
great
earlier.
stuff. Yeah, it's a completely different adventure, but an adventure nonetheless.
Nonetheless.
Yep. Second song that we're going to feature, another live acoustic song from Ian. This is called "Rather Be Country," which I love the message in this song. Tell us a bit about this one.
This is actually about upstate New York, because you know where I'm from, this awesome town, Saugerties. It's like this weird melting pot of the world where you're gonna have we had this 10-acre piece of land that was my buddy's grandma's place, and we basically could just get away with anything. Yeah. And we had massive bonfires all every night, and it was just debaucherous. And you know, we'd have like a valedictorian, a felon, a hippie, and a bunch of rednecks at the same place. And it was just this beautiful thing. And we were just very hillbilly-ish all the time. And Rather Be Country is just kind of about embracing those nights. You know, just being out in the woods and not needing anything.
Yeah, I love it, man. We're so excited to show this song. It's Rather Be Country, again, completely live and acoustic right here from Ian Flanigan. Y'all check it out.
outlaws, hippies, rednecks, hillbillies, all running out here tonight. Never been a back road that ever had a closing time. We got the red dirt rebels dancing with the devil, singing with the Sunday saints. Sometimes you gotta get a little dirt on your angel wings. Turn that water to wine, that corn to shine. Good old boys make it burn so bright that lightning gonna strike again, make a sinner say amen. Whether it be high and lonesome, whether it be a dirt road in a city street, whether it be an old skipping stone sitting at the bottom of the fishing hole, then a diamond cut to fit inside your ring. Keep that suit and tie, I'ma live and die with these boots down on my feet. Rather be country. Born blue collar, got that muddy water running down through my veins. Don't need much, just a little bit of luck and faith. Turn that water to wine, that corn to shine. Good old boys make it burn so bright that lightning gonna strike again, make a sinner say amen. Rather be high and lonesome, rather be a dirt road than a city street, rather be an old skipping stone sitting at the bottom of the fishing hole than a diamond cut to fit inside your ring. Keep that suit and tie, I'm living down with these boots down on my feet. Rather be country. Shine. Good old boys make it burn so bright that lightning gonna strike again, make a sinner say amen. Whether it be high and lonesome, whether it be a dirt road than a city street, whether it be an old skipping stone sitting at the bottom of the fishing hole, then a diamond cut inside your ring. Keep that suit and tie, I'm living down with these boots down on my feet. Rather be country.
So we're back with Ian. We have some fun segments that we do on the show. It's called Having Fun with Ian Flanigan. This is a lot of fun, and these will go out as like those little TikToks that you were referring to that we'll be trying to create buzz for this interview with. I think you'll enjoy these. Everybody does, and a lot of our viewers will skip right to this timestamp a lot of times too. So,
Awesome.
The first one is called Did You Know? So can you tell us something your fans may not know about you?
Did you know that I used to want to be a magician?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And what was it just because you couldn't get through the bad of that?
Yeah, basically. No, I used to, as a kid, as an only child again, I was like, being a magician is probably the coolest job you could ever have.
I would have been a great magician if I could have just done magic.
Yeah, yeah, if only.
Yeah, next one is called Mount Rushmore. As you know, Mount Rushmore has the four, what they say, the greatest presidents of our country. Who is on Ian Flanigan's Mount Rushmore of most influential artists?
Well, I am going to use a couple local, a couple famous. I would say, famous-wise, probably Tommy Emmanuel. I would say Willie Nelson. I'd say my guitar teacher Chuck Masasi, and another great guitar player, Jimmy Eppert.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that you're giving your guitar teacher some flowers there because it's a very.
Oh, he really was though.
Yeah.
Like, he gave me my right hand.
I mean, he was the very first person you mentioned on this show after your parents. So
yeah,
I think that's important. And we're actually going to debut a brand new segment with Ian here in a minute, perhaps that person will get more flowers from. And that's called Impactful. This is the first time we've ever done this segment on the show.
Oh, nice.
So Impactful is the 3 most impactful people on your life. And you have to tell me the best thing you learned from each of those 3 people.
Well, I definitely had great parents. So I would say my mother, and the most impactful thing that she had is love for, or seeing the good in everybody despite anything wrong going on. And that's a thing I work hard for in everything in my life, is always try to see the positive through it all. I say my father because of he has this mental fortitude of just never quitting, never giving up, and he's just family first. Like, that's all that matters. So his loyalty to family and friends is the impact that he gave me. Did you say 3?
Yes.
3. Let me see. Man, I want to make it good, but honestly, I'm a simple guy. I would say probably my guitar teacher, more than he knows. We spent a decade learning together, so I would say that the impact he had was is embracing my authenticity and really just putting in the hours.
And what was his name again?
Chuck Masasi.
Thank you. All right, that was our first time ever doing Impactful. Next one's called One Artist. Who is one artist you wish the entire world knew about other than yourself?
Let's see. I'm going to say my good buddy Jim Ranger.
Okay.
I was on the show with Jim, and Jim is he's one of the best humans, but 2, he really is an insane storyteller and vocalist.
Very cool. All right, I'm going to let you decide which one is the next segment. Would you rather do Bucket List or Fly on the Wall?
Ooh, I don't know what Fly on the Wall is, so let's do that one.
All right, Fly on the Wall. Can you tell us a room in history that you wish you were a fly on the wall for?
Oh my gosh. That's a good question. A room in history, like all of history. Man, I don't know. I just watched Gladiator again, so I think I'd have to be on a wall where they're like, let's build a coliseum and then have people fight to the death. I just want to know what was going on.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
I just watched that.
That's a really cool segment, yeah. Next one's called Biggest Lesson. What is the biggest lesson you've learned directly from music?
Oh, man, it is 100% just don't be anybody but yourself. Don't try to be anything but yourself.
Yeah.
And you'll find the best songs.
People know immediately when you're faking it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's the biggest thing in life, but in music especially.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Next one's called Moment of Gravity. This is probably my favorite segment on the show because this is what really makes it very circular, which we mentioned earlier. I feel like every single person in life can look back and reflect at their life and find that one moment in time that began their path to where you ended up now. Can you see what that moment was?
Yeah, I was actually I was in a pretty bad car accident one time, and I had every single thing I owned in this van, and it was just totaled. And I was at a really low point in my life, and I remember going to the scrapyard to go check the van, and I had literally everything. I had weights, I had like knives, clothes, everything, guitars, amps, and I had this one guitar that I owned at the time in a soft case, and everything was destroyed. Like, the van was like bent. And I remember getting in the door, and this guitar was just untouched. And it was like a very big symbol for me, where through all of that, I was just like, man, I can't believe this thing's not in 1,000 pieces. But I took it as a sign to just, here's your good thing. Go with this,
Yeah, it's finding that needle in a haystack, right?
Yeah, it is.
I love that.
But,
okay, next one's called Grateful. You talked about grateful earlier, being grateful for things. What are the 3 things you think you are the most grateful for?
Oh, my family, my good friends, and honestly, good music. Family,
Awesome.
friends, and music.
Can't beat that, right?
No.
Last one is called "Who Do You Think You Are?"
Mm.
Who is Ian Flanigan?
Oh man, I'm just a student. I'm just trying to learn every day. You know, that's the best way I could put it. I don't have a good answer for that. I am just excited to be here, and every day's a gift, man. I'm just trying to learn how to be a better version of me.
Yeah, trying to get some sleep along the way, right?
Trying to get a little bit of sleep. Yep.
Awesome answers, man. I appreciate you being here today, Ian. Let me see here. I want to let folks know where they can follow along with everything you got going on. The webpage is ianflaniganmusic.com. I'm going to spell that out, and we'll also put it in the link, a link in the description. It's IANFLANIGAN music.com. Again, you can go there. He's got a phenomenal website, which includes all of his music, his tour dates, his videos. You can buy some merch there as well. The social medias for Ian our TikTok is Ian_Flanigan. Instagram is Ian_Flanigan. YouTube is Ian Flanigan. And I think Facebook is also just Ian Flanigan. I'm going to double check that, though, so folks will know for sure.
Yeah, I think it's Ian Flanigan Music. I wouldn't be able to remember anything else.
Well, that's your profile. We don't want to tell him about the profile. Stay away from his profile.
Yeah. Don't come on over.
You're right. It's Ian Flanigan Music. So those are the @ for all of those. And you can find all of those on the webpage as well if you just want to go there and follow along on the platforms that y'all are using. What would you say is the best way for folks to follow along and support you as an artist, Ian?
Man, I appreciate anybody checking in, following and on Instagram, TikTok, and following on Spotify and streaming the music, man.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm glad it worked out.
Chris, thank you for your time, brother. I appreciate you having me a part of this.
Hey, y'all, it's Mackenzie Phipps here, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Boston Chris Show.